Welcome back to another Beyond Awesome, where we talk to Beyond Awesome people, talk about Beyond Awesome topics. I'm super pumped today, but before I get to Alex, Heather, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jason. What about you?
So awesome, and I feel like I haven't talked to you in like 8 hours. Oh yeah, I was sleeping. But yeah, over to you, Alex. Hey man, this is about you. Thank you for taking the time today. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey guys, so I'm Alex Balan. Most people actually in the company know me as Jay. That's my nickname. Thing is, we have like about 400 people called Alex. It's like this insanely popular name. Yeah, so at that point, you kind of need nicknames or something unique. And you know, fun fact, I think I'm the only person called or named Jay in the entire organization. You know,
I can't think of one.
Yeah.
It is odd.
Yeah, I'm the chief security researcher in Bitdefender, and I do three major things. One of them, I manage the bug bounty program for the company. That's where people that try to hack us or find something that may be wrong with our solutions report what they found, and we kind of use that to enhance the security of our products. It's an insanely successful and productive program. I managed part of the vulnerability research inside the organization. So we have these badass, really hardcore security people that can really dig into things, and we have this pen testing team which really digs into a lot of things, and they find so many amazingly new zero-day vulnerabilities. And I also, the third part, which kind of was kind of diminishing in the past period, is I do some public speaking. So I've been a speaker at probably all the major conferences, 4 times at RSA, 4 times at DEF CON. I've even done a big event in China at one point.
Oh, wow.
And one of the events that I'm really happy I did was the last DerbyCon. So if anybody watching us is into cybersecurity and like really hardcore, they may know DerbyCon. It's one of the most beloved conferences in the world in cybersecurity.
That is very cool. So I wanted to touch on the nickname thing. So early in my career at Bitdefender, I got a nickname assigned to me. I don't even know if you both remember it, but it was Nichols. And so I was being called Nichols because in MSP, it's you build up those nickels to get the revenue to grow the business, right? We are exploding, so I don't call myself Nichols anymore. You can call me dimes or dollars, but no more nickels. But I love that, Jay. I love the nickname, but I'm super pumped you're on here because of just the whole inside to the back end of the extremely amazing stuff that goes on at Bitdefender that nobody really knows, right? And that's how Heather and I can do our job, because of you and all the team in the back end. So it's awesome. And the other thing I would say is, Alex, I would love to get on a stage with you one time. I think we would have some fun together. So let's make that happen.
Appearance. You know, there's this, I'm not going to say conflict as much as, well, an interesting is the word I'm going to use here, when a technical guy and, well, I'm not going to say commercial guy, but, you know, commercial guy appear on the stage together, you know, and people are like, this is going to be an interesting chemistry. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, you're not too salesy, Alex. I mean, I'm the technologist, so you would be the sales guy, right? Or are you saying reverse? Which way are you going?
I love salesman. I've been actually part of a number of deals here. So the sales team and the marketing team kind of rent me quotes to some of the big deals to talk to the more demanding CISOs or CTOs, where they kind of feel, okay, we need some heavy guns with us. I'm proud to say that they're kind of calling up on me, and I go to them to some of these big meetings, and that makes me also a sales guy.
There you go. You didn't even know, right? You're the sales guy. Well, here's the thing. I actually started my career as a technologist. I don't know if you know that, Jay. So I was a CTO, IT director, a consultant. I used to implement solutions. Yeah. But I figured out very quickly that there's a lot more smarter people out there than me. So I'll go out there and talk about it, and they can do the cool stuff. But back to you. So tell us something we don't know about you. I mean, I've already learned so much, but is there anything else that you'd share that maybe would shock people about you that they don't know about you?
Well, I mean, you know, there's a reason why people don't know stuff that they don't know. But I think that we can figure something out here. So, I was in musical school. I did 6 years of musical school. Yeah, I learned piano and music theory. I mean, this never going on stage, but therapeutical for us band. We go every Sunday and we play as loud as possible. It's like therapy for us.
That's awesome.
As big as I am right now, I used to be obviously much slimmer, and I did mountain climbing, rock climbing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. From between I was 14 and 24, I think, was when I kind of stopped because I was much more into my work. But for about 10 years, yeah, I did a lot of rock climbing and mountain climbing and hiking. Yeah.
I get scared just thinking about that, Jay. Like getting on a rock.
I can't do it.
Yeah, it's like,
I have a fear of falling, not of heights, but definitely a fear of falling.
I have a fear of landing after the fall, not so much
That's
the
true.
fall.
Well, the thing is, you're supposed to, you're supposed to pass your limits. That's the whole concept here, right? So if you're afraid of something, it's like phobia treatment. If you're afraid of something, you're supposed to face that and get over it. If you're hurting, for example, let's skip past the fear. If you're hurting, if you're tired, you're gonna realize that you can push beyond what you know your limits are.
You're so right. You are so right.
I'll take your word for it on the falling thing.
Okay. So my wife jumped out of a plane last year, and she's like, "You want to go?" And I got my whole body like tensed up just thinking of getting in the plane and thinking about jumping out of the plane. And I put that in the same category as rock climbing. I'm not afraid of heights, like Heather said. I'm afraid of falling off of heights. So.
And I have one more little known fact. Yeah. So remember how you started off as a CTO and all that good stuff?
Yeah.
Actually, props, cool. We like that.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, appreciate it.
My first job at Bitdefender was marketing.
Really?
Really? Okay.
This is why you're so good speaking.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got that toolbox. He's like, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. That's amazing, man.
So yeah, my first job, I actually applied as in the Unix Linux server team, and they asked me to be a product marketing, so to kind of build the entire go-to-market process.
That makes sense.
Banners, press releases, and all that good stuff. So yeah, that was my first job at Bitdefender, product marketing for the server products, for the Unix-based server products.
Okay, I got one more. So where are you right now, Jay?
Right now, actually in Bitdefender HQ in the Las Vegas room.
Nice. And that's in Romania, correct?
That's in Bucharest, Romania. That is correct.
I love it. I just love that we're, US to Romania and we're talking. It's just very cool. All right, Heather. I mean, he jumped on marketing. I want to see what you got for him today.
So my first question for you is around how do you structure your teams and the different programs that you run to make sure they're as successful as possible?
So I'm working currently with two different teams. I'm working with the InfoSec team, so I'm coordinating a small part of the activities there, everything that has to do with vulnerability management and the bug bounty program. They're obviously under their own management, but I'm coordinating some of the activities there for that. And then I'm coordinating the pen testing team, right? So these two different areas. And part of the IoT security research. Now, I guess that the main thing here is, common sense and making sure that they're doing what they want to do. So, for example, let me put it like this: the pen testing team, they've always wanted to do what we're doing now. This is the magic sauce. They've always wanted to do it. They just didn't have the opportunity. So when I said, okay, let's do this, everybody jumped on board, and they love doing it. And we're doing it in like 3 weeks iteration for each project. In those 3 weeks, we try to find as many vulnerabilities and hack as much as possible in that project. And it was so insanely successful. We literally managed to find critical vulnerabilities and hack every project that we've worked on so far. And everybody was partly thankful to us and partially a little bit afraid. Right. And the other thing is, so for example, when doing vulnerability management, and this has a large part to do with how we are perceived from outside, because all of these come from outside of the company. So there's people that are not Bitdefender and they find something that may be hurtful to us, right? And managing the relationship with that person is very, very important, because they may go to Twitter, right? Or they may go to whatever if they're unhappy with the way we communicate with them. So the one thing that I keep telling everybody, and I try to kind of make sure that everybody understands, and anything that we say, do, the way we kind of design the rewards in the bug bounty program, we have to look from the lens of what would happen if this conversation got published.
Totally.
We want to be proud. So, because again, it's an external conversation. So we want to be proud, and if that guy is uncomfortable or feels mistreated, you know, if he goes public or they go public, I want the InfoSec community to say, well, you know, Bitdefender was right here.
Absolutely. And you know what I want to touch on, Jay? Relationships. This is a people business, no matter what we do. And we have to treat people the way we want to be treated, and we have to care about how they're looking at things. So I love that you touched on that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'm also, I mean, not necessarily not a believer in hierarchy. I do believe in hierarchy. I don't believe in the concept of being a boss. I don't believe in
Correct.
boss.
Yep.
You know?
I hate being called a boss. I've never liked that, ever.
So everybody has a responsibility, and everybody is a cog in the system, including management.
Yep. We're a team, and you only succeed or fail as a team. I totally agree with that.
So my next question for you is sort of a piggyback on that. And once you find the vulnerabilities or you notice something that's not quite right, what do you do to address it and communicate to the broader community so that other people don't experience the same thing?
That's an excellent question. It really is.
Of course it is.
It's not just an American thing. You know, Americans say it's an excellent question after literally every question.
Yes. Good call,
Oh, there went
Jay.
my confidence.
I know, right?
But that actually
good, right?
is a question, also a bit of a challenge, I don't mind telling you, because we have such a huge infrastructure. And one of the key challenges that we're facing here is if let's say, you know, there's a search field in a web application, right? And somebody finds out that, you know, you can, if you enter something in there, you can cause this kind of effect, right? Okay. Now, one of the challenges that we're facing is how do we make sure that once we fixed it there's not other applications built within the organization by whoever else in other teams that may suffer from the same vulnerability. So we have the architecture team to thank for that, because they have an oversight over every little bit of code that's written within the organization. And they have all the tools and all the processes in place to make sure that if we find an attack vector in a component, we can very easily identify all the other components that may be affected by that. So that's one. And I'm sorry, what was the first part of the question?
So how do you address it? And then also, how do you communicate it so others don't experience the same thing?
Right. So the first thing that comes, the vulnerability comes in, right? And then the first thing that we need to understand before everything else is the impact. You know, is it serious? Is it critical? Do we need to involve legal? Do we need to involve PR? How bad is it, right? Once we determine that, the next step is what components are affected, which are the affected components. And then essentially we have a system that's pretty automated by now, which assigns that to all the affected teams, and they need to confirm it. This process literally takes a few hours, no more than a few hours.
Wow.
That's
Okay?
crazy.
That's impressive.
Yeah, well, vulnerabilities are really bad sometimes, so you do need to make sure that this takes a very short amount of time. Now, it takes a while for the teams to kind of take it in, because each affected team is going to be like, oh. And obviously, we work with literally all the teams in the company, so everybody reacts differently. You have to handle different types of people, different types of reactions. Some may be defensive, not a lot, actually, a very few. We've had very few defensive reactions. Surprisingly enough, 99% of all the people that we interact with are grateful, are thankful. They appreciate it. They say, okay, thank you for making my code better. Thank you for making the company safer, you know, all that good stuff. So most of the people are quite thankful. So we assign the tasks and they validate and they say, okay, this is valid. And then they give us an estimate on when that would be fixed. At that point, we may come back and say, okay, I think that the impact is much bigger than you estimated. I need this to be shorter. They're going to say 1 month. And I say, okay, maybe you need to do it in 24 hours. And
yeah, no problem.
And at that point, we make the case, we talk to them, and they understand. And actually, sometimes they drop everything and they fix it right there on the spot. And then we come to the position when if there's a product vulnerability like endpoint. At that point, we need to make sure that everybody, including our OEM partners, if they're affected, right, are aware of that and they update their code. And I'm going to take this opportunity to make sure that everybody watching us knows if we push an update, apply it. It's very important.
There's a reason for it, right?
Yeah. So we've put in place this email notification list to all the affected parties where we say, okay, we just fixed this vulnerability. It's available. The update is available for everybody. Apply it now. And then just not necessarily for pressure, but for transparency reasons, at that date, we're going to publish it on the website. Right now, there's on the Bitdefender website, there's an advisory section where people can see all the vulnerabilities that we received and fixed in the Bitdefender products. The reason for that is for all the people that didn't get that email, they can look there and then they will be more stimulated to actually update their products. And also, it's good.
Jay, just real quick, I'm going to make sure that all our partners, Heather, let's talk about that they know that part on the website, because Jay, that's important. I knew it was there, but I haven't been evangelizing it, so I will from now on. That's a very good point. Yes.
And that's that. We fix it. We push the notification.
And that's that. I love it. And that's that. So great. I mean, it's so important for people to understand what happens in the back end and all the things that happen and all the people we have working on these things, and that they take it so seriously. But what you touched on was the teamwork, getting the boss, the hierarchy. There's sometimes that people have to be leaders, not bosses, to lead people in a direction. But the thing that I love about Bitdefender, and I've worked many places, everybody does care about each other and they just want to be successful. They don't say, whose fault is it? Why did this happen? We do that to fix it for future. But like you said, 99 to 100% of the people I work with on a daily basis are just there to help. And we all just want to help our customers. Okay,
let me tell you something else. Literally, all the people that I work with are so much smarter than I am. And
can I just copy that? Because it's the same exact thing for me.
And I feel so privileged that they're working with me and they're okay with that. And I'm just in a coordination position and okay, let's do that. And then they jump in and say, maybe that's not a great idea. And then, okay, thank you for that. You just saved my ass,
Exactly. Coordination, that's the key word. I like that. You coordinate it. You don't, tell them what to do. I like that. I like that a lot. Heather, was that all you had? Because you always have excellent questions.
The only thing I'll leave you with is if you had one piece of advice for anyone out there to take from your perspective, what would it be?
Be ready for the unexpected. So this is one of the toughest pills to swallow for everybody, because we are kind of shaped to think in terms that we already know and extrapolate from that just a little bit, as much as our brain can extrapolate from what we know.
Yeah.
And if I've learned anything in dealing with in the InfoSec community and with security in the past 20 odd years right now, is that you're always supposed to expect to be surprised that something is going to be done in a way that you haven't fathomed. You cannot begin to understand how some things work, and you should expect that. You should have that your mind shaped in a way that kind of is prepared to intake something completely unexpected.
I love that. One of the terms I say to my team is you have to win every day, but the other thing is think outside the box, because thinking inside the box got you where you are today, but it's not going to get you in the future, right? So it kind of correlates there. But I think what you were saying is you just always be ready for the unexpected and be as prepared as possible. But I think every day when I wake up, I expect something to happen in a day, and it's never the day I expect. Every single day I wake up.
I think I just use a very fancy and lengthy explanation for be cool.
Be cool.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. Yes. I think that we are pretty cool, and bringing you on definitely showed that. So Jay, thank you for the time today, man. It's been so awesome getting to know you a little bit better. I mean, I know you're famous inside of Bitdefender. We all love you and adore you, and I just love the time that we got to spend together. Heather, thank you so much for making this all happen. Without you, it doesn't happen. And everybody that took the time to watch this and spend a little time to watch this or to listen to this, you're pretty awesome if you looked at this, right? Because you looked at it beyond awesome. Give us a call, reach out. We'd love to have you on. Doesn't matter if you're in technology or not. We just want to talk to amazing people and get to know you. So thank you, and make a difference in this world. Go out and do something positive. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if you're picking up the trash from your neighbor. Just do something to make yourself feel better, because you'll feel better for it. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.